Hey everyone, this is your favorite radio host, your only radio host and favorite girl, of course, Corine La Font, from Between the Lines, broadcasting to you from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. You know, I always start my show off being thankful for being here. I am just really, really thankful to see another day, to smell the air, to take in and rejuvenate all my cells. My organs are working. I am in working order, people. My brain, everything, my mind, my spirit, everything is in working order. And I'm just so thankful to be here and appreciate everything that is going to be coming to me today. Yeah, I appreciate everything that's going to be coming to me today and what doesn't come to me today, because it will come when the time comes. And I will appreciate it then, and I'm appreciating it coming to me. In other words, I'm just appreciating people. Just be thankful. And I'm also thankful to have a beautiful lady here with me. Oh my gosh, she's just glowing. Guess what her name is? Amethyst. It's a beautiful gemstone, just like her. So her name is Amethyst Mahoney. And I stress that because prior to that, we were talking off air that I kept spelling her name Maloney. So it's Amethyst Mahoney. And you know, just when you have to pronounce amethyst, you have to put that tongue between your teeth kind of thing. You just can't say amethyst. No. You have to pronounce it properly. Amethyst. With care. With love. That's how I'm doing it, actually, because the name is with love. So I want to tell you a bit about her, and what we're going to be talking about today is unhustle to achieve more. Now, that kind of sounds contradictory, but she's going to explain how can you unhustle to achieve more. So let me get quickly into her bio, and then I will formally welcome her to Between the Lines. So let me get to it. So Amethyst helps spiritual entrepreneurs like myself unhustle and step into their limitless abundance by creating 5-figure months. Who wouldn't love that? She is passionate about creating groups and working less. Really? You heard me say that? Working less to achieve more while helping more people and contributing to global change and positivity. What a responsibility. Amethyst runs Spiritual Badass. Notice how I stress that, badass. You just can't say badass like that. Amethyst runs Spiritual Badass, a group of entrepreneurs from more than 217 countries around the world. Welcome, Amethyst, to Between the Lines.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
So you're running some badasses around the globe. What's going on?
I am. I've been doing this for a really long time, and even way back in the day, it's like 12 years ago. And when I first started getting on Facebook and everything, there was no place for people like me and maybe like you too. But if you wanted to have a spiritual business, there was nothing, right? These days you can go online. You might, if you're kind of new to business, you might be like, no, there's still places. No, you would go to business communities, and if you mentioned anything spiritual or
freak them out.
Anything about oracle cards or anything, they would just flip out. I've had people actually be like at networking meetings.
I was a name like Amethyst. Come on, you're so innocent.
I know, right? And then I go to spiritual meetings, and you can't talk about running a real business there. You can't talk about making money there. It's a very poverty mentality, and let's just all save the world. But one of the things that helps save the world and make real change is actually raising your financial level to the point where you can actually give more away and help more people. So it just wasn't working for me. So I created my own space where people who are very spiritual can come together and talk about the causes that they believe in and why they're doing their business, and then aim for those 5-figure months. And a little bit more.
So tell me about when you say a spiritual entrepreneur, because I want persons to understand that clearly, because some people may not realize that they're a spiritual entrepreneur. And I don't think, I'm listening to you, but I don't think the person may be running necessarily, and not all of them, but maybe running necessarily a spiritual business. but
Right.
they themselves, as the entrepreneur, is a spiritual person, and everything that they do within their business, their life, has a spiritual approach to it. That's
Exactly.
my feeling. So I'm going to let you explain what a spiritual entrepreneur is, and how you can really level up to get to that 5, 6, 7 figure um, income, and be comfortable with, like, you creating your own space. If you're uncomfortable here, there, you're like, if somebody cannot accept me here, there, or wherever, why not create my own? So I leave it to you to go into more depth with that.
All right. Do we have 6 hours? Because I can
Yes,
talk
we
on this.
do. Yes, we do.
So you're exactly right with the spiritual entrepreneur. You may not have a so-called spiritual business that some people may think of as like, I specialize with working with tarot and oracle readers, Reiki healers, kind of spiritual practitioners who do sacred soul alignments, golden ray work, Akashic record readers, those kinds of things that you could look at that business and say, oh, that's obviously a spiritual business, right? But
Mhm.
we also in the community have people who are life coaches, social media managers, just pretty much, health coaches, every different aspect of business that you could possibly have. And those people are also people who have spirituality very much as one of their highest values in life, and pretty much base all of their decisions in life off of that kind of spiritual practice that they have and that kind of connection to their higher power or divine source.
Mhm.
So both of those are great, because we all know that we need more people who are actually making decisions more from a spiritual place
Mhm.
and bringing that energy up, especially into higher level corporations. There's a lot of stuff going on right now with what's his name, Jeff Bozo, the Bezos. Oh my God, I guess Bezos, the guy who runs Amazon. I think that's his name. But I know a lot of people who work for him, who work for that company, and a lot of people who have left that company because it doesn't pay a living wage. It doesn't do all of these things. And
Yeah.
there, and now he's started some kind of charity fundraiser, but that's what corporations do, because that's a big tax break. So
Mhm.
instead of paying your people a living wage, you're going to divert money over here and do this thing, which sounds good, but it's actually just contributing. The whole thing is a mess, right?
Yeah.
So when you're an entrepreneur and you have the money to actually hire people, you can pay them a living wage.
Yeah.
You can invest that money into your people, and then also you can give into the greater community.
Yeah.
Right now, my husband we actually own a corporation. We incorporated,
Mhm.
and he is my vice president and my technical guru.
Mhm.
And so we have, between the two of us, 27 people who work for us, and a couple of them are full-time.
Great. Mhm.
And so we make sure we pay them, right? You've got to do
Yeah.
that.
You should. You should. So
Yeah.
coming back to spiritual entrepreneurs and the approach. Now, how is it different, the approach with a spiritual entrepreneur, whether your business is catered towards a spiritual business or you are spiritual yourself,
Mhm.
compared to what I guess I would say a traditional entrepreneur, somebody non-spiritual? We're talking
Right.
about the approach to business, and we're talking about unhustling to achieve more. And everybody's like on that hamster wheel. When you watch people, they're just on that hamster wheel,
Mhm.
running behind things that you can never really satisfy yourself. I want more money, I want this. And then when you achieve that, you want more. That is certainly not filling the void for you. I want a partner, that's not filling the void. I want a bigger space, that's not filling the void. You're constantly running, running, running. I mean, I just watch people just tiring out themselves doing this thing, and I'm like, what's really going on here?
Right. Yeah.
So what's the approach with a spiritual entrepreneur, spiritual person, to achieving probably those same sort of objectives, but at the same time not being on the hamster wheel?
Right. And it's a really important question, because I was there when
Mm.
I first started my business. I was hustling. I was doing all the things. I was, working working 12, 15 hours a day. I never saw my husband. I was actually in a car accident too. And so that contributing with that, I was very sick and I kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker. I actually died for a minute. Then I undied, I like to say, so it's fine. But it really was a huge wake up call. And I see people do the same exact thing. And somewhere along the line, even before I died, I took a minute and I said, there has to be something different. There has to be something that I'm missing. And growing up, I was extremely poor. I worked, 2-3 jobs. I worked 80 hours most weeks. It was a mess. And I was like, I do not want to live like this. So one day I was driving down the road and I was listening to, who knows, talking about working harder. And we got stopped behind some construction site thing. And I just looked and I was like, all of these people standing here at this construction site are some of the hardest working people ever. They're standing in this heat all day. They're out here doing this for, just a lot of hours a week. They don't make a lot of money. They're not making 6 figures. So working harder obviously is not the answer. So I really had to kind of step back into this. And what I realized is that there's a couple of different things going on. Number one, when I pulled back to a 24-hour work week, that is when my business absolutely exploded. Okay. And in order to do that, I had to really focus on pulling in the right energy, but really focusing on doing the most important things. So most of the time when people start an online business, they think, I need a website, I need a logo, I need to be on 15 different social media sites. And then they just start running around like crazy trying to get all these things done. None of those things matter at the beginning at all. Like if you're sitting here saying, I need business cards and a logo, and you haven't created a program to actually sell to people yet, or several of them, then you're doing it backwards. And you're doing it the way the majority of people tell you to do. And that was one of my biggest clues. If the majority of people out there are telling you to do it this way, it's wrong. It's not working.
Isn't that what we have been programmed to believe? If more people tell you the same thing, then that's what you should follow.
Yes.
I've been noticing that we have to really unbrainwash ourselves from a lot of things that we have been taught. It's just like resetting, just like how you would reset your computer or anything else, reset your phone and just wipe it clean. So it's like what I'm going through now is wiping everything that I have learned clean. And it's taking a while, but I am trying to wipe everything clean and just start blank all over.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because they've done numerous studies on this. How people generally say it takes, 7 to 12 times for people to get to know, like, and trust you. That's, kind of a good rule. That is still pretty good. But they've also found that if you yourself repeat something 12 times or more, it becomes a fact to the person who's hearing it. That's why we are in the political mess we're in my country. We're not going to touch that, but that is how these things happen, is that people spread these lies, or they just decide to say something, make it their platform, and they say it by 12 to 15 times. People believe it as if it's fact.
But the first thing is, why are they listening? You have to
right.
Right. No, why are they listening? You can't blame people for saying what they have to say. Everybody say what they have to say, but why are you giving it attention? Why are you in front of the TV? Why are you listening to the radio? I mean, I tell people I have no idea what's going on out there. I mean, really. So when I hear certain things, people are like, you didn't know about it? I'm like, no, because I choose not to listen to it. I am very careful what goes into my mind. And if I am talking about resetting and clearing and having a blank slate, I can't be doing that and at the same time allowing those negative things to come back. The same things I'm trying to get rid of, I'm pouring back in. Makes no sense.
Right. Right. So that's a really good way to do it. And I actually stopped watching the news probably close to 20 years ago. But I do catch things on Facebook, of course. So
You
I
will
do.
catch it. Even if it's not
Yeah.
on Facebook, somebody's going to tell you.
Somebody's going to tell you, right?
Yeah, so you don't miss it. It's like, when you tell people, I don't watch TV, I don't read the news, I don't listen. They're like, what? You don't want to be in the know? I'm like, what do you mean? If a storm is coming, I must know somebody's going to come and say something because they feel obligated to tell you.
Yes. It's true. It totally happens. And so people have that they're always going to put that energy out at you. But I think it's really, really important what you said is, unhooking from that energy and unhooking from those things that people are telling you, because that's exactly what the unhustling is about, is to stop that shiny object syndrome, that FOMO, they call it, that fear of missing out, right? Yeah. That you somehow aren't good enough, or you somehow, have to prove your value or prove your worth by doing all the things. And it's a total fallacy. It's just not true.
It is. And you mentioned that FOMA. Repeat what that is again.
It's FOMO, fear of missing out. Yeah, FOMO.
FOMO, yeah.
It's what millennials said for a minute.
Yeah, fear of missing out. And the whole thing about not being good enough.
Yes.
That is a significant, let me call it, disease, because it is so insidious. You don't even realize that you're feeling that you're not good enough. It is only when you go on this spiritual journey, Amethyst, that you realize, oh my God, I never thought of myself as not being good enough.
Yes.
And you attract things into your life. You keep running on that hamster wheel, trying to prove. And it's like you're tired, you're drained, you're like, what else must I do? No, without realizing that you're actually giving yourself the answer in that same question. If you realize that you're pouring out, giving, doing, trying to prove every time, then something is wrong. It cannot be that you don't know anything. It cannot be that something is wrong with you. Because if you just keep pouring, doing, trying your best, then I don't know, you need to take a step back. Yeah. You need to take a step back.
Yeah, you need to stop. I heard one of the most significant things I ever heard in my life. I must have been in 9th or 10th grade, and someone was saying that people are always running. They're running to catch up with their lives, right? Running. Yeah. But if God or whoever source is trying to catch up with you, and you could just keep running away, that energy is never going to get you. It's not until you stop that then it finally catches up, and then you feel it and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have to do anything.
Exactly. I don't have to do anything. Exactly. I don't have to do crap, right? You just need to stop. I mean, I'll give you an example. Yesterday I went out. I had an appointment at my doctor's, and I went out, but something just said, Corine, don't go back home for the entire day. And I just said to my friend, who I saw a couple of friends, while being out, visited them, hang out with them, eat and stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not going home. And there's this other friend who told me, come and meet her. And on my way, I said, gosh, something like in my body started to make me feel nauseous. And I said, I have some emails to check and some business. I'm going to go home instead of coming to meet you. And on my way to traveling home, this taxi pulled up near to me, and the guy just called out to me, Amethyst. I don't know the taxi driver. And he just said, hey. I'm like, hi. And then he says, what you doing? And I said, well, I don't know. A friend told me that she wanted me to meet her, and I don't know, I'm thinking of going home, and I can see where I can get my taxi to go straight home. And then this guy says, where? And I'm like, I told him the street, and he's like, I'm heading there. I'm like, Lord. I said, I just jumped in the taxi. Because I just felt at that moment, it was meant, this guy just showed up at that moment. I just felt I had to get into the taxi to go and see my friend instead of going home. I ended up coming home late last night as a result. I just went with it because for the day I just felt I had to just follow whatever my spirit told me. I just had to follow. And for him to show up at that point in time, just before I went to take my taxi straight home, and to just talk to me like if he knew me. The man spoke to me like if he knew me. I'm like, okay, this must be a sign. Let's see where this goes. And I had fun. Yesterday was such a revealing, reflective day for me. Just not being in my home environment, just being out and allowing things to happen, that it cleared. Yesterday was just a momentous time in my life. It just cleared a lot of things for me just from being out.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. And it is when you step into that place where you're not constantly striving and trying to make things happen.
Yeah.
When you really stop, that's when you get those messages from spirit. That's when you can have these awesome experiences. I was in Greece last year. Everyone's always like, why'd you go to Greece? I'm like, because I wanted to. Like, what?
Right?
So I went to Greece for a week by myself. Nice. I told my husband, I said, I'm going if you take off a week of work, because he still has a corporate job. And I said, you can go, but if you don't, I'm going. And so he didn't get the time off or anything. So I went. And while I was there, I just kind of let whatever happen. And I had some amazing experiences. I ended up at the home of a lady who makes vases and other artwork, mostly for tourists, but they're based on ancient Greek sculptures and stories and things like that. And I actually got to sit in her studio and watch her start painting them. And I was like, oh my God. That was amazing. Yeah. I'm like, I can't even draw a straight line, and she's over here like,
and you have to go to Greece to see that. Look at that. You have to go to Greece to experience that. That is an experience, of course, you will never forget.
Right.
You will never forget. And we don't know, the emotions that went through you, that took you to a place, spiritually, mentally, physiologically, because it's your whole body and spirit involved. It took you somewhere that probably that will be something that can come back to you, just like how it came back to you here now, to bring back that emotions again. I mean, people don't understand this thing, Amethyst. If they only just stop and just notice the little things. It's not the big things. It's not the car. It's not the house. It's not the money in the bank. The little things. Just stop. Sit in a park and just stop. Eat an ice cream. Buy something from the coconut vendor, like here in the Caribbean. Just sit and take it in, and don't worry about all the things you have to do at work, what deadlines you have. You just need to stop.
Right.
But the whole unhustling to achieve more. I mean, people listening to us may wonder, I need to make money. I'm running a business. How can I achieve more? by doing all those waste of time things where you'll just sit down and wander off.
Right. So your biggest, let me just tell you this, your biggest thing, especially when you're starting out in your business, is to sell something, get a client, right? Many of the things that people are spending time on doing are not exactly directly related to sales. They're about things that they believe will eventually create sales for them. One-on-one conversations with people, even through Facebook, even through meeting Facebook strangers on Facebook, right? I've sold almost $400,000 in products and services just through Messenger.
Are you serious?
Yes, by, like messaging back and forth, and then sometimes I'll jump on a call. I'll just call them straight through Messenger, have a little bit of a talk. Is this a good program for you? Do you want to work together? Whatever it happens to be. I spent less than an hour doing 2 conversations one day from people I'd met on Facebook through Messenger. I made $27,000 in sales in less than an hour.
Is it because of the products you have, or because some people are doing all of those and more and nothing is happening? What?
It's because of your belief, right? Your energy, your enthusiasm about your business, getting out of your own way about your money stuff, and then being able to show up without the attachment of this person has to become my client because I need money right now. right? It's about stepping back and letting spirit come through and guide you, and going into that conversation with that person of the idea of this person is going to be better off after this conversation, regardless of money exchange, because we had this conversation, and inviting that spirit and that spiritual aspect to come through to support that person no matter what happens. Okay. And when you show up in that kind of way, even if that person says no, you'll be amazed. Like someone will email you and be like, I'm ready to work with you. What can I do? Like it'll come from somewhere. You have to trust that. But it's putting that energy into the right things. So if you're looking at, let's say most people, not even most people around the world these days, because Europe doesn't even do it, but in the US, which is where I am right now, it is believed that 40 to 60 hours a work week is a normal week, right? If you actually look at the studies of how much people actually work, 4 to 6 hours a day is maximum for people to work. The other time they're sitting on Facebook, they're sitting on their phones, they're making phone calls, they're writing funny emails or whatever people do at day jobs these days. I don't even know anymore. It's been so long, right? But they're doing non-productive tasks. And so there are a lot of experiments. There's actually a new study that just came out that they did this huge experiment. This huge corporation went from a 5-day work week to a 4-day work week. They were extremely nervous about it. Productivity went through the roof.
Wow.
And it's because when you give yourself a finite period of time to get a task done, you're going to be so focused and so in the energy of that task and so in the allowing of it to go through that you're actually going to get 2 to 3 times as much work done in that period of time than if you were sitting there saying, well, I have all day to do this, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
And so that's,
it's a change in mindset.
Total change in mindset. And it's a total change in your energy too. So the basis of unhustling is to make sure that you're focused on the most important tasks first. Give yourself time periods. I'm a huge fan of block scheduling. So if you're like, I have 2 hours during, that I'm going to accomplish these tasks or that I'm going to focus on this, right? I can sit down in 2 hours and write out all of my posts for a month for my Facebook community.
Wow.
2 hours. Last time I did it was 1 hour and 40 minutes. I did 2 months worth. I was like, man, right? Because you get into that energy, you do the same, when you block schedule, you can block off the same type of tasks. And so your brain is not constantly switching back and forth. People think multitasking gets more done. It actually gets way less done. So if you are allowing emails to interrupt you during your day, or if you're allowing messages from other people to interrupt you during your day, you've cut your productivity by, like 80%. It's ridiculous.
And for those with procrastination and discipline issues, tell us how we can get around that.
Set off some time for specific tasks like that you're going to actually focus on it and do, right? So when I had, and you could do this for anything, and I'm just going to say, when I had that car accident, and I had chronic pain, I had migraines, I had a lot of physical issues for years. It was bad, right? I never knew if I was going to have to cancel with clients or things like that. And I started getting really, really depressed about how am I going to make this work because I have such small amounts of time that I can work. I was kind of forced into it. And so what I would do instead of getting up and crying and being upset about it every single day is I would get up and I would talk to, spirit, and I would get into my spiritual practice and I would make myself time periods to do it. So I would be like from 4 to 4:30 p.m. this afternoon, I would block it off on my calendar. I have time to cry, rant, rave, be depressed, get all of those emotions out. And when they would come up during the day, because, a lot of people struggle with these things, especially if you're upset over finances, not getting clients, those kinds of things. When they would come up during the day, I would say, okay, I see you and we have an appointment from 4 to 4:30 this afternoon. I'd love to talk to you then. So just need you to go be over there and I will get to you. And then I would keep that appointment, right? You can do that for anything. It's even looking at your emails, looking at messages, things like that. Block off 2 or 3 15 to 20-minute time periods during the day. Yeah. And check your email then. Most people have to start out with 3 times a day. I know one lady started out with 4 times a day. She's like, I can't let email go more than 2 hours. I'm like, okay, start where you need to start. But I will check messages and email for about 15 or 20 minutes in the morning. And then at night, and then now I've worked myself up to, I do have a full-time assistant. And so she can pick up the slack and bring things to me when it needs to be addressed. So, but you don't start there. Same thing with Facebook groups, right? Or your social media management. You give yourself a little 15 or 20-minute time block. You put it on your calendar and you focus on it, get it done, get it out of the way, and then move on to the things that really need to get done that are going to get you clients.
That's discipline. That's discipline. A lot of discipline, and just making it a habit. And probably you can just start off small with one thing. And you see, the thing about it is that we tend to beat up on ourselves when we don't accomplish certain things. So just target, for me, I mean, just do like one thing for a day, you know, just or for a week. I'm just going to focus on whatever, just accomplish one thing a day, you know, every day for the week, and just keep it at that until you're able to add on more and more. And you know, we humans tend to beat up, like I said, on ourselves for a number of things. Feeling not good enough comes back again. I wasn't good enough. I didn't do this. I should have done this, and I could have done better. And you hear that monkey chatter in your head.
Yes.
You know, the ego comes out to make you feel bad about everything. You know, I am like, you know, I'm working on trying to find out where the hell this ego came from.
Right. So let me just tell you the general idea in spiritual communities with the ego, and even in some Buddhist practice, because I've studied and participated in most religions around the world over the years. It was my whole spiritual quest. I spent my 20s reading. Everyone was in college going to parties. I was sitting at home reading like the Bhagavad Gita and the Dhamma. Like that was my Friday night. And so I was at this ashram one time, and but a lot of people talk about killing your ego. It's a very big thing. Your ego is bad.
It is.
But here's the thing. I actually switched that, and I started talking to my ego just like you would talk to your inner child.
Of course.
And make friends with it, and find out what are you trying to accomplish for me here? Because what I have really found is that your ego is trying to protect you. It just doesn't have any clue about how to do it. It's in that fight or flight, like constant vigilant mode. And if you can actually talk your ego down and make friends with it and be like, I get that you're trying to protect me, but how can we do this in a better way? You're actually going to kind of bring that energy down, and it's going to be more of a productive, cooperative relationship instead of this constant, because your ego is part of you. You're not going to get rid of it. So you can choose, do I want to fight with this thing constantly and be pissed off at it? Yeah. Or do I want to switch it into becoming friends with it and developing a better relationship with it? And it does take some work, but yeah. But now, you know, in the mornings, I'm like, hey, ego, hey, inner child, what do you guys want to do today? You know, and your ego can be your best client getter. It really can. It's amazing because it wants to protect you. And if you're like, I need some clients, what can you do today to find me some clients? That energy will go out into the universe for you and start looking for ways to make clients show up for you. I love
that. That really resonated there with me.
Yeah, make your ego your best buddy.
Yeah. So how I mean, by just talking to it, you say, you know, how I know you're trying to protect me. Because it came to me the other day. I'm like, first I wanted to kill the ego, and I'm like, oh gosh, I know I can't kill it because it's part of me, however the hell it got there. But but you know, and I guess it serves a purpose, and I knew about the whole protection thing. Is just trying to protect me. So I'm glad I have you on my show to be able to tell me this here now, that make friends with it, and it can be your best client seeker. You know, it will help bring and put solutions, start telling you the things that you need to do and focus on. Sit down and have a little meeting with your ego and make friends with it, because it's part of you. So if it's
Right.
part of you, then why be in a constant fight and struggle every day?
Yeah. And I actually, it's really funny you brought up have the meeting with it. As a solo entrepreneur, some people call you a solopreneur, right? Most people, we don't start out with teams of people around us, people to help us, right? You still have a team of people helping you. And when you can sit down and understand that and have a little team meeting every week or every other week, even just for 5 or 10 minutes, then things will really start to change in your business. So you've got your spirit, your divine source, any guides, guardian, angels, if you believe in whatever you believe in, those different parts of you, right? Some people work with ancestors. There's all kinds of different beings, entities, elements, things that people bring into this. Then you always have your ego and at least one inner child. I have like 800 of them, right? So like it gets crowded in here, right? It does. But if you understand that you are never alone in this, and sit down like once a week or once every other week and be like, hey, who needs attention this week? Let's have a team meeting, have a little agenda, like here's where our business is now, here's what we want to do. Does anyone have ideas on how to help accomplish this? What are you guys excited about? Are there any fears that I need to address? What are those underlying subconscious beliefs, and bring them to the surface so they're not working against you, and really have a team meeting. And some people are like, that sounds crazy. And I'm like, but it changes your life.
Yeah, it's a shift. It's really a mind shift. Wow.
Right.
Wow, Amethyst, this is awesome.
And there's one more tip I want to bring in before, because I think we're getting close to time. But the other part of unhustling is to start using that spirit energy, that universal divine source energy. Everything you do in your business does not have to come from your own finite energy that you need to replenish every single day. You can actually start drawing down through that spirit in whatever source that you believe. Like I have a lot of friends who are like, oh, I do everything in Jesus' name, right? Or I do everything through Krishna or whoever it happens to be. But find your particular, that spirit and that source, and ask, can you lend me some of this energy? Can you like replenish me throughout the day so that I'm not using my own, little bit of finite energy? And then that will help keep you going for that 24-hour work week. And will actually push that energy out and amplify it so that you don't have to. And then that's how you can make, 6-7 figures and go spend time with your family and your friends and do the things you want to in the world.
Love that. You have my mind going. I love that. It. I want to quickly feature your website though. Let me see here now. Tell me one second.
So I sent you a bit.ly link. That is actually a free guide to starting your own fun and profitable Facebook community. So I'm sure that'll be up somewhere around the video. My main website is amethystmahoney.com, just my name.
Amethyst Mahoney. Yes, I'm going to bring it up and you can guide me here. 1 second, I will share it on the screen as soon as it pops up.
Okay.
So let's see here now. Where is the share? Yes. There are too many buttons in this.
There's so many buttons.
Right? So there we go. So I'll just minimize you here. Yes.
Yay. There it is. It's up today.
Yes.
We're redoing a lot of stuff. So this is actually, I just took this picture off. We just went to the Caribbean. We went to the Bahamas and we went to Atlantis. My husband.
I went there. Lovely.
It's so fun. I love the water slides.
Yeah, nice. I didn't go by the slides though. I went over. There's a big golden chair kind of thing where everybody takes pictures on. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. There's a big, massive share. I can't remember
It's
what.
hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Pictures there. So this is your main site.
That's my main website.
Mm-hmm. So fill your one.
It'll look different when you see it when you're watching this. Probably, I'm getting new shirts and doing a new photo shoot this weekend, so I'm super
I
excited.
know, that's okay. That's okay. So do you have, okay, and of course that's you.
That's me. If you go to
I
the
am
middle one,
not
it
doing
says
this.
join.
I am not doing this, okay?
I know, right?
I know I am not doing this.
So I will tell you, I am scared of heights. My
Right?
husband and I have jumped out of an airplane together. Always go ziplining, but I'm really truly scared of heights. And I took him. That is in downtown Chicago. I live about 45 minutes from there. And I took him for his birthday into Chicago for a surprise weekend. And as soon as we went in, he saw the building and he said, well, I know where we're not going because you're scared of heights. But of course, I tackle everything. And so I literally had to crawl out of that, though. I was so, like, I was sweating and shaking.
Yeah. It doesn't look that way, though. It doesn't look that way.
Yeah, but I was like, it makes a great picture, right? Like,
yeah. But in your mind, I said I would do it, but I'm saying to you, I wouldn't do it because
right.
your mind, your brain is telling you other people walked out and they didn't fall.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't. But then your other side is going to tell you, as soon as you do it, you will fall.
Right. Yeah. I was doing that the whole time, and somebody kind of made a joke like that, and I was like, I will come throttle you. Stop it.
Yeah. That's really not nice to say, Oh my God, the fears that really paralyze and cripple you,
So many. And that's part of the reason that I always tackle them is because, you face it. And courage is not the absence of fear. It never will be. It's doing it anyway.
It's doing it anyway. I want to focus on your free resources here.
Oh gosh, I don't know if that page is up. If you actually go down on the bottom right there, it will do. Okay, nope. That one is up. That one's the old one.
Oh, so where do you want me to go? That's okay. Where do you want me to go?
But you can get it if you go down where you were by that picture. That is, so I have two free ones, the join the community in the middle with the big giant amethyst angel wings, where it says join us here, and then the Facebook guide right there. So both of those are fine.
This one?
Mm-hmm. That's my community. So if you want to come join us over in Spiritual Badass, that takes you to the Facebook group.
Okay.
And then it opens a new tab apparently.
Right. And
then the one on the right where it says free Facebook guide, then that is the free guide that you can grab that goes through, unhustling, mastering communities. I'm a big fan of helping people create a small community. Mm-hmm. I just had a client recently who was able to quit her day job, and she had about 550 people in her group. That was it. Mm-hmm. So she replaced her day job income. She's since gone on and gotten, she just recently got a new $25,000 client. I mean, things are rocking.
Oh, I need to work with you.
Right.
I need to work with you.
But that is my favorite thing in the world to do, is to create that thing that's missing in your own life, right? Create that. Like I said at the beginning, when I first started, you could not go to a spiritual business place. So I created that for myself. And if you have something that you can create that kind of fills the gap like that and explain to people what it is, you're golden. You are going to make 6, 7, 8 figures. That there's just no way not to. If you don't have kind of like a gap that you can see, but you have a program or a product or service or something that you can explain to people that you can provide. Seth Godin, a lot of people know him. He's a famous entrepreneur, and he even has a TED Talk where he talks about it only takes 1,000 people to be excited about your cause or the thing, that thing that you believe in, to make you wildly successful. So instead of just focusing on your business as, I'm going to sell this program or I'm going to do this thing, really think about what is the bigger purpose behind your business, and how are you, doing something bigger in the world. When you can explain things to people like about that, they will come pouring into your community.
Nice. Do you offer free consultations, like
I
calls?
do.
Yes?
Yes.
How can persons get access to that?
I believe on that first page that you were on my website, on the left-hand picture that said "Work with me," I believe that takes you to the free consultation page. I will check it. We're redoing things.
Yeah. I didn't want to click on it because I know you said you're in the middle of it. I don't think it's ready though.
No, there is on the page though. It will be when this goes up. How about that? If you click on it, it takes you to the form. Because I already have the forms. They're available. I just have to make sure the links are
working. Yeah.
Are all working. Yeah. You know how technology is, and
I know
you change like one thing, and it's like, oh, now I have to go change everything.
Yeah. Believe me, I know. It happens, and then you're like, something has gone wrong, and then you have to go and test over everything. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It takes a while. People don't understand when you're setting things up to be automated with technology. It really is frustrating, and it takes a long time.
Right, and that's why I tell people, don't start there. Mm-hmm. Start with a group. Start with connecting with people one-on-one. Start by making your offers, either in person or on Facebook or in your own community. And then you don't have to worry about the technology. I hired someone and we set up a new funnel. It took 8.5 months.
Wow.
So if you think that you're going to just get up and people talk about doing a webinar and doing a funnel, you got a long road ahead of you. And that's only because I already had most of the information created, the programs created, everything on a website, everything done, and it still took 8.5 months.
8 months, yeah. It takes a while. So to get to that 5-6 figure, I mean, I don't really like to ask this question, but I know people like to ask it because they want to put that time to things, but you just really can't. To say, well, you can get a 5 figure in the next 1 year if you work consistently, or you can do it in, 2 years or whatever.
You can do it faster than that. I have actually taken a bunch of my clients, usually within the first 2 to 3 months that they work with me, they'll be making $4,000 to $5,000.
I'm coming to work with you.
The last client I just started working with made $4,500 in the first 2 weeks that we worked together.
I am coming to work with you. I am going to take up that free call. I'm serious. I'm going to come and take up that free call.
Okay.
I am so serious. So please look out for me.
And then the other people, I've worked 3 people out of their day jobs in the past couple of months. I've helped them, set that up so that they have more than replaced their income. We just had a new gal retire from her day job. It took her 3 months.
Yeah.
Which is an amazing amount of time when you think about it. Like you can go from struggling at a day job to replacing that income in 3 months.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And when I talk about replacing your income, I also want you to look at having projected income coming in. Not struggling month to month. We're talking like you should have 3 to 6 months. That you're making this many thousands of dollars coming in. Mm-hmm. And then my other client, I worked with her for, it's been just at a year. She's hitting 6 figures this year.
No, I'm coming to you. I'm definitely coming to you. I need to be one of those testimonials, to say that you work with Corine in the Caribbean and this is what is happening for her. And then I can also help other people here and pay it forward. Yeah.
Yes. And that really is what it's all about. It's how much are you giving back? I can only buy so many new cars and bigger houses and coach purses. Like I just,
Yeah. This is awesome. Amethyst Mahoney. Thank you so much.
Here, I'll put on my crown here for this.
Yes. Put on your crown. We are queens. Yeah. We are queens. Thank you so much, Amethyst. I really appreciate the gems that you have dropped on us today. And really encouraging persons to dig deep and realize that, they're made up of a team. I love that part when you said you already have a team within you. Yes. And have a meeting with all of them, whether within or without, you have a team supporting you and encouraging you on your journey until you're able to have human teams wherever to additionally support you, but know that you are supported by the universe, by your ego, make friends with your ego, by your inner child, and you. We are made up of all of that. So don't reject it, don't fight with it. Work with it. Don't resist. The more you resist is the more things become difficult for you.
It's true.
Thank you so much, Amethyst, for being on Between
Thank
the
you.
Lines.
Bye.